All right, good evening, everybody, and welcome to our December 15th school board meeting. We'll call a meeting to order. We just got out of closed session, and we are going to start with the oath of office. So we'll all want us down there.
Perfect. So I'll stand here. Okay. I
I, Dana Valentine,
Morning, Smith.
do solemnly affirm
solemnly affirm
that I will support and defend
That
That I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California
and the Constitution of the State of California
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
And I will bear true
I will bear true
faith and allegiance
faith and allegiance
to the Constitution of the United States
to the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of California,
and the Constitution of the State of California,
that I take this obligation freely
that I take this obligation freely
without mental reservation
without mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will
and that I will
well and faithfully
well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
upon which I'm about to enter.
upon which I'm about to enter.
Congratulations. Let's give a round of applause, please. Hold on, hold it, wait. Hold it. Let's take a picture with her. Hold on. Yeah, hold on. Thank you.
All right, next item is roll call, which we did before we did prior to going into closed session. So now we are going to go to the next item, which is the Pledge of Allegiance. And Ms. Valadeo, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is the approval of the agenda. I do have one correction under item 12, consent calendar. Item G, student overnight travel. Number 1, Volta and Henry Miller Elementary sixth graders to attend Camp Green Meadows. The item should state only Henry Miller, and the year should be 2023. So it states both Henry Miller and Volta. It should be just Henry Miller, and it says 2022. May of 2022, which was a few months ago, so it should be May of 2023. So that we have that correction, and the corrected BRM is posted on the website. Dr. Marshall, any other changes?
No further changes.
All right. With that, I need a motion to, and a second to approve the agenda as corrected.
I'll make a motion to accept the agenda with corrections. Second.
All right, we have a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Moran, to approve the agenda as corrected. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried. All right, we're on to our organizational issues. Dr. Marshall.
Okay, at this time, we're going to do our election of officers, and we will start with the office of president. So I need a nomination for president.
to nominate Anthony Pereira for president.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion and a second for Anthony Pereira to be president. Anyone else? Tina, do a roll call at this time.
Oh, I'm sorry, I got the wrong one on.
Ms. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pereira?
Yes. All right. Well, thank you all. Appreciate that. Glad to be continue on as president. So I'll take it from here. Next item is the election of vice president. Need a motion?
I'll make a
Or-
motion to nominate Dean Lieb as vice president. I'll second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Smith and Valadeo, any other nominations for vice president? Seeing none, I'll call the nominations closed. And we'll have a roll call vote. Tina, please.
Mrs. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo?
Yes.
Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, clerk of the board. Nominations.
I'll make another nomination to nominate Gary Munoz for clerk. Second.
All right, we got a motion by member Smith, seconded by member Moran to nominate Gary Munoz for clerk. Any other nominations? Seeing none, we will close nominations and proceed with roll call.
Ms. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo?
Yes.
Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Next item is secretary to the board, and by ed code, that is actually the superintendent. So doesn't take a whole lot of thought on that one. So I make a motion to appoint Dr. Marshall as secretary to the board.
I'll second it.
And we got multiple seconds. So I think Gary was first. Mr. Munoz has got a second. And nominations are closed. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And it's unanimous. All right. Thank you very much. So this is our organizational meeting. So we have a number of things that are going to be happening for the next couple of items on our agenda that we are required to do by law every year because we are organizing every December. So on to item B, statement of facts.
Okay.
Dr. Marshall?
Yes. It's recommended that the board approve the statement of facts for filing with the state of California per ed code.
All right, the statement of facts basically says is the board ratifies the fact through a resolution that we all live in our districts so that no one can say, oh, you don't live there anymore. Well, according to this, we all live in the right spot according to our districts. And so we have to provide the state our addresses and make sure that we are all living where we need to be living to be up to code. So that's the statement of facts. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We've got a motion by member Lieb, seconded by member Moran to approve the statement of facts as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? It is carried unanimously. Thank you. On to item C, which is resolution number 4122, signatures on warrants. Who gets to sign the checks, Dr. Marshall?
Right. It's recommended that the board adopt resolution number 4122, authorizing the superintendent, assistant superintendent of human resources, assistant superintendent of administrative services, the chief academic officer, and the director of fiscal services is to authorize signatories for purchase orders on district funds.
That's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions, comments from the board? If not, need a motion and a second.
I'll second that.
Got a motion by Member Valadeo, seconded by Member Smith. Any other questions or discussions? Roll call vote, please, Tina.
Mrs. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pura?
Yes.
Thank you.
On to item D, Resolution 42-22, Delegate Responsibility for Approval of Warrant Registers. Again, who gets to sign the checks?
It's recommended the board adopt resolution number 42-22 that warrants be honored by the county superintendent of schools and the county auditor with authorization by 2 signatures on the warrant register.
Again, self-explanatory. Any questions? Motion, second, please.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 42-22.
Second. We got a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Munoz to adopt Resolution 42-22. Tina?
Ms. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo? Mr. Pura?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next item, but before we get there, I would like to have the opportunity to now introduce our newest board member, Ms. Dana Valadeo. Thank you, and congratulations on winning your election and being here tonight, and actually for the next couple of years. So, actually, it's not a couple; it's actually 4 years she's here. So, we're so happy to have her. So, congratulations, and thank you for joining us. On to item number 6, recognitions and introductions. Dr. Marshall.
We had planned tonight to recognize Mr. Ray Martinez for his 6 years of service to the school district. Ray couldn't be here tonight. He's going to be out of town. But we did have a chance today to present him. We got a nice plaque for him. And we presented it today and thanked him for his service. And I'm sure he'll be around and, basically will keep being an advocate for us in the district. So we wish him well.
Thank you. And he did spend 6 years, and
Right.
it's a lot of work. So
Yes.
we do appreciate all his service to us. That's great. Any member of the public that would like to place an item on our agenda that's within our purview, you have the right to do so. Contact Superintendent Marshall's office. And if it's 2 weeks before a school board meeting and it's within our purview and we can get all the information we need to have a discussion about that item, then it will be placed on the next agenda. So that's the process for getting items on the agenda. Tonight, if there's anybody here tonight that would like to speak to the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda, you may do so by approaching the podium, and you'll have 3 minutes to speak for each non-agenda item. If there are multiple speakers on the same item, then you will have a total of 20 minutes total for the same subject. Anybody here tonight that would like to speak on an agenda item, again, same process, approach the podium. You'll be called to come up and start your presentation. You have 3 minutes to talk. And then if there are multiple speakers on that same agenda item, it is a total maximum time of 20 minutes. There's a clock over there, and you'll see the timer's running, and so it'll let you know when your 3 minutes are up. So that's how we get to that process. So is there anybody here that would like to speak to the board on any item that is not on tonight's agenda? So please step forward. Seeing no one come forward, we will move on to item A under number 10, reports, and that's our student representative report. And which mic is Marantha? Okay. Jacinta, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Okay, so for my reports tonight, we're going to start with Pacheco High School. Pacheco High School is pleased to announce that the Western Association of Schools and Colleges mid-cycle review was completed in November, and Pacheco High School's accreditation is now reaffirmed through the end of the current accreditation cycle ending on June 30th, 2026. Pacheco FFA held their fall banquet and recognized over 150 students for earning their Green Hand and Chapter degrees. FFA's canned food drive donated over 1,500 items to the Los Banos Police Department, and our toy drive donated $4,000 worth of toys for Cops for Kids. Fair time is wrapping up, and PHS will have close to 100 students showing livestock at May Day Fair this upcoming year. FFA is also looking forward to their public speaking and career development contest beginning when we come back in January. Pacheco can't wait to see their student successes in the spring. Pacheco and Los Banos Junior High School's choirs had their fall concert on Wednesday, November 16th in the Pacheco Theater. Both choirs sang their own set and then came together at the end to sing a holiday selection that included 23 different Christmas carols. California's Central Regional Honor Choir was there the week before Thanksgiving break, and Pacheco's own Daisy Aubrey represented Los Banos Unified School District. Honor Choir was 3 grueling days, culminating in a performance at Delta College on Saturday, November 19th. On November 16th, the members of the French Honor Society participated in a campus cleanup. Members of the society picked up litter on the Pacheco High School campus after lunch. PHS ASB teamed up with the school across the district for the Macy's Make-A-Wish Letters to Santa campaign. Over 3,500 letters were collected, resulting in over $7,000 being donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation. PHS ASB sponsored Dude Be Nice Week, November 14th through 18th. The week culminated in the Dude Be Nice rally, where Kyle Johnson, Daisy Rivera, Mr. C. Miller, and Mrs. Silva were honored. Secretary Tammy Smith was celebrated as the overall Dude Be Nice honoree. All of the honorees were presented gifts to celebrate their kindness. Fall sports officially ended with cross country, as freshmen Giovanni Mejia and Jace Campos finished in the top 5 at the Frosh soft level. Winter sports are underway with over 200 athletes competing in basketball, wrestling, and soccer. On November 30th, PHS ASB and LBHS ASB met to discuss the potential of working together for this year's winter formal. The groups came to an agreement and are excited to host the city's first joint dance between the two schools. That concludes the Pacheco report. On to the Los Banos High School report for the month of November. ASB collected items for the Los Banos Animal Shelter and Creepy Critters November 1st through 16th. They collected over 50 items for both groups. Interact Club had a fundraiser to raise funds to help support ASB's animal shelter donation. They raised over $50 to help purchase items for the donation. Interact Club also took the time to write thank you letters to teachers on campus, thanking them for impacting their life in some way. Los Banos High School participated in the Veterans Day Parade for the first time ever. Throughout the month of November, the College and Career Center hosted visits and informational meetings from various UCs and CSUs. For the entire month of November, the College and Career Center also hosted Cash for College events, Fast for Support sessions, and application sessions for seniors. LBHS's Creative Writing Club had a fundraiser to help pay for the end-of-the-year field trip to Fresno State for a creative writing conference. They are currently working on more fundraisers for second semester. On Saturday, November 12th, the band and guard competed at the Central California Band Review in Merced. The band received second place, just 0.5 points away from first place. The guard received second, and our drum major, Sage Araya, received first place. Please congratulate the band and guard members when you see them and wish them luck as they continue to work hard to get ready for their next marching competition. 113 10th through 12th graders students joined this year's National Honor Society at Los Banos High School. They met the criteria of having a 3.0 GPA after first quarter grades and are also participating in school clubs and or sports. LULAC partnered with the Cupcake Lady on November 2nd and made $270 to pay for an end-of-the-year trip and graduation strollers for seniors. LBHS had 8 students qualify and compete at the sectional project competition speech and demonstration day. They will find out the results in February at the banquet held at Merced Fairgrounds. Ag Mechanics students presented Mrs. Creighton, which is a Marine, with a gift made in the Ag Mechanics shop. It will be raffled off at the Veterans Banquet. FFA collected cans for the police officer canned food drive for the month of November. They collected over 1,700 cans. Fall sports wrapped up with our end-of-season award ceremonies. The lower-level team with the highest GPA was boys cross country with a 3.87, and the highest varsity team was girls volleyball with a whopping 4.2. Overall, we had 245 fall athletes with an average GPA of 3.66. There were 15 student athletes in the fall who earned first-team all-league honors, 8 second-team, and 5 honorable mentions. The Tigers also have the Offensive Player of the Year in football, David Herrera, and the tennis MVP, Chloe Cotta. Head football coach Dustin Capresso was also recognized as Coach of the Year. Winter sports are in full swing with our teams competing in various tournaments and preseason contests. All sports are in action throughout the winter break. Right after Thanksgiving break, LBHS and PHASB and class officers met to discuss partnering up for winter formal. The groups are super excited to host the first ever joint dance. We are excited to bring some more unity between the schools. Hopefully this can be the start of a new yearly tradition. And not to toot my own horn, but that was my idea and it's going great right now, so I'm super excited to see how it turns out. And that concludes my report for the evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jacinta, and thank you for doing some leadership. Good, that's all
Thank
right.
you.
They liked you. All right. Congratulations. All right. On to California School Employees Association report. You want to pull the mic down towards you? Yeah. Thank you.
All right, good evening. I'd like to start tonight by welcoming Dana to the board. We look forward to seeing what you bring to this district as a board member. If it's anything like what you brought to the classroom as a teacher, then yay for us for making our vote count. As the holidays are upon us and all our sites prepare for Christmas parades, programs, parties, and the excitement of winter break, I feel tonight is the best time to remind you that not all classified employees partake in winter break. LBUSD has 45 different classifications for their classified staff, with 11 different workday calendars, ranging from 182 days to 247 days worked a year. You may also have heard it referred to as 9, 10, 11, or 12-month employees. The process of creating the different workday calendars is quite a task and executed with precision by our very own classified HR specialist, Chris Arachu. On December 16th, when all the teachers, staff, and students go home to be with their families for winter break, there will be approximately 127 247-day or 12-month employees who will stay behind to make sure this district runs like a well-oiled machine when the students get back in January. Our custodians will be giving the school an extra deep winter cleaning and providing maintenance on the buildings and the campuses. Our administrative assistants will be cleaning and clearing their site budgets, updating classroom fundraisers, and updating registrations. They will be preparing for graduation ceremonies, which are right around the corner, PD, staff and admin trainings, completing transportation orders, use of facilities, and preparing time accountability reports for their categorical staff when they return, along with the daily grind of answering phones, helping parents and students, and receiving orders, as most of the time they are the only ones in the office during the break. Our registrars are entering transcripts and going through cumulative folders, verifying those folders are correct and up to date with student information, closing out their prior year cums, and they're also updating the enrollment and transcript requests. Our maintenance specialists, grounds workers, and information system specialists will be completing projects such as the one they just finished, the air quality sensors, starting new projects, trying to catch up on the hundreds of work orders they have waiting in the queues for maintenance of equipment such as refrigeration, touchless water stations, Chromebooks, projectors, computers, and printers. That's just to name a few. Our accounting technicians will catch up on billing and the thousands of invoices this district receives monthly. And when I say thousands, I mean just that. In the month of October alone, they processed 1,861 invoices. You might think that that's not a big deal, but there are many checks and balances. It's not like us just writing a check in our checkbook. They must verify W-9s, vendor names, and addresses. They review invoice dates, numbers, and amounts, and make sure it matches up to the paperwork processed by our school sites. They verify it's being charged to the correct account codes and that specific items have been tagged for fixed assets. When doing staff reimbursements, they have a whole set of different checks and balances and a third one for conference and mileage. Our accounting specialists will review, code, and balance the 1,500 plus timesheets that are turned in monthly for our staff. This is for subs and extra work, as in addition to the regular payroll duties they have to make sure everyone receives that check at the end of the month. And let's not forget, W-2s are right around the corner also. Amazing fact about our accounting technicians and accounting specialists, there's only 4 of them. So 2 people are responsible for making sure that the thousands of invoices are paid every month, with all their other duties that come along with the job. And 2 people are responsible for making sure that those 1,400 payroll accounts are entered correctly, making sure that all of those timesheets have been added to the people's accounts, and that everything has been followed, the checks and the balances to put into place that make sure the staff is paid correctly, because nobody wants their check wrong. I know Leanne spoke on staffing issues in our facilities department last month, but we really need to start looking at staffing issues across the board. Our schools are getting bigger, yet we're not adding custodial staff. Our administration is growing, yet we're not adding administrative assistants. Our budget is becoming more complex and the audits more thorough, but we're not adding accounting staff to our district office or our sites. At some point, it will start to crumble, and it will be the students, the very people we are here to serve, that will suffer the consequences of not being staffed properly. I want to end my report tonight by thanking Dr. Ritchie and Dr. Marshall for including me in the Strategic Planning Committee. I was a bit hesitant at first, but after sitting through the first focus group session, I'm entirely intrigued. As the president of CSEA, one of the common complaints I receive from my members is that our district lacks in directive and informative communication. The most important conversations are the most difficult to engage in. But when we avoid these conversations, we're just trading short-term discomfort for long-term dysfunction. I think this committee is a step in the right direction and look forward to being a part of not only the interviews, but also the focus groups, where we, the employees and the students of Los Spanish Unified, can come together and create an environment of not only clear and concise communication, but effective communication also. On behalf of CSEA, I would like to wish each of you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.
Thank you, Lisa. Thank you very much. Los Spanish Teachers Association report. Good evening, Andy.
Good evening. I'm Andrea Clark. I'm Vice President of LBTA, and as Lisa said, I'm sorry to have to follow you tonight. It's been a really busy week with almost back to normal pre-COVID activities. It's been a fun-filled, crazy week enjoying the Christmas programs, pajama days, dress-ups, etc. I have to admit that if you stand a little too close to me, you might want to call a dentist, as you might get a cavity, as I have 60 of us frosted sugar cookies with kindergartners today. So needless to say, I'm a little sticky today with our little buddies. It was priceless, though. Great memories. It's that time of year that we take a moment to cherish making memorable experiences with our students. And on behalf of LBTA, we would like to congratulate Mr. Pereira, Mr. Lee, Ms. Smith for their reelection, and a huge congratulations to Dana Valadeo. Welcome. I know that you're going to do great things for us. Have a wonderful and restful holiday, and it sounds like CSEA is not going to be getting as much rest, but thank you so much. We appreciate it. I love going back to a clean classroom. Have a blessed holiday.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. Dr. Marshall, on to your report.
Okay.
Oops.
I have a lot of stuff tonight. First, I want to start with the subcommittees. All right, these are the appointments to the superintendent subcommittees for committees for 2023. Let's start with facilities. That's going to be Lori Gattuso, Jean Lieb, Anthony Pereira. Finance subcommittee, Gary Munoz, Anthony Pereira, Marlene Smith. The 2x3 committee with the city of Los Banos, that's Jean Lieb, Anthony Pereira, and Dana Valadeo. The scholarship committee, Jessica Moran, Laura Gattuso, and Marlene Smith. Elementary curriculum council representative, Dana Valadeo. Secondary council representative, Jessica Moran. And then a recommendation for the Recreation Commission with the city, Gary Munoz. Okay, so those are the committees.
Thank you.
Now I want to transition to my report, and it's lengthy, so I'll just say that up front. I really enjoyed the concerts this week. It was nice to see parents back on campuses. We kind of getting back to normal. Every site I went to was packed. I mean, you're at the park, way in the neighborhoods, in downtown and such, but it was really nice to see parents back on our campuses, and welcome back. Kudos to Jason Waltman and to Matt Thomas. They both were recognized by the Merced County AXA chapter. Jason is our secondary principal of the year, and Matt is elementary principal of the year. So let's give them a round of applause, please. They both will be recognized at the AXA Awards. They'll be here in Los Banos on January 30th, so congratulations. As far as our students, we have 2 sites I want to recognize. You have Grasslands. We had 3 of the top, we had 2 students that were in the top 3 from Merced County in the spelling bee, and one of our students, they're moving to the state competition in Sacramento. At Los Banos Junior High, we have Ms. Dixon, her advanced language arts class. They entered in the essay contest, and I think that we had 6 of her kids made it in the top 10. So they're going to go on to like state and even national competition. So I want to commend Ms. Dixon, Ms. Brazil, and the staff at Los Banos Junior High School and the students. All right, we continue our path back to normalcy. It was nice. The staff at San Luis High School, they had a blood drive. Was it yesterday? Yesterday. Yeah. And you had 40% of the students to give blood. And that's Miss Christy Huff. I mean, she kind of coordinates that, so I want to kind of recognize that. The Los Banos Rotary Club, they're bringing back empty bowls, that tradition. Miss Brazil will be leading that, and she'll be working with the secondary ceramics teachers and the Rotary Club members on that. Pacheco High School, I think this was mentioned previously, got their mid-year cycle review. So the school is accredited now through June of 2026. Congratulations. And Pacheco is also moving closer to starting this ROTC program. So we're taking steps towards that. We have a big shout out to Dr. David Hort and his team as far as our recent CTIG grant. When we got the award, I was like, wow, they received, I sent this information, over $800,000. I've never seen it that high. And that'll be some funds to support our secondary career tech program. So kudos to your team, and whatever you wrote, write it again. Thank you. We also have some good news about our academic recovery plan. I mean, when we submit those plans to the state, a lot of times you submit things and you think, nobody reads this stuff. But that's not true. We got a call from the State Department, and they like a lot of the attributes that we put in our plan, a lot of the counseling supports, a lot of the intervention pieces that we put in there. And they'll be working with, I think we have a meeting tomorrow, Dr. Ritchie and I, with people from the state. And we're going to be doing a presentation together at a conference in March about how we got those funds from the state when they gave them to us. They were actually using them the way we were supposed to. So that's a good, that's a nice pat on the back. I want to thank our voters for the passage of Measure X. This time we designated some money to repair the roofs at Los Banos Junior High School and West Side. And what's interesting, we had the rain recently, and I was real curious to see, okay, now in prior years when it would rain like that, we'd always, we have the buckets and stuff like that. But this year, I called both principals, and there was nothing. So the things have been repaired. So the voters out there, thank you. We try to spend your money as we said we would. So thank you. We will be doing, I had a question from a community member about ribbon cutting ceremonies. I think Sherry Monday is going to have a presentation coming up next. But there's been with the project at Lofton, Pacheco High School, Grasslands, we have been getting questions about, are you guys going to do a ribbon cutting ceremony? We do those, but with COVID, that kind of put that on back burner. So we will be doing that. But Grasslands is going to be hosting, we're going to be hosting the Merced County School Boards Dinner on March 27th. And Grasslands will be the site, will be the host site. So we're looking forward to that. Lisa talked about this in her report. We will be working with the Geisler's group on a long-range process for district long-range planning. It's a good, very thorough process. They will be coming in, doing focus groups, and we'll be talking to teachers, administrators, community people, students, just basically where do you want to see the district moving forward? Come up with a plan that kind of outlives us all. I mean, because you have to have an organization our size. We have to move forward and kind of have this big long plan. So we're going to start that process when we return. Also, something else we'll be doing is looking at our logo. We've got lots of concerns that our logo is a little bit dated. So There is a process for that, so I'll be putting together a group to kind of work with that too. And we're going to involve the community in that process, so please stay tuned. To kind of close out, we will again, I think this helped us when we came back from Thanksgiving. We will be offering the free COVID test to students and their families. I think it was a very smooth transition. Our numbers were not that high, coming back, because I think that the whole part of the process is you take the test before you come back. And I think so that really that cut down the contact tracing and such. So we're going to do that again if we haven't done it already. So to everybody, enjoy the time with your family and friends. Be safe. Enjoy the respite, and we'll see you in January. That's my report.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay.
On to facilities report. Oh, there she is. I was wondering where you were. You're hiding. Welcome, Sharon.
Good evening, Board President Pereira and board members and Dr. Marshall. I'm going to be presenting my facilities update for December. So on the first slide here is pictures of Henry Miller parking lot. The left side, you can see they've started doing the rebar, and on the right side, they've actually poured that drive that they're rebarring. You can see that there, that they've completed that. Next slide is additional pictures of Henry Miller parking lot. The concrete parking area and the curb and entrance is 100% poured. The fence posts are about 80% installed, and they are currently working on installing the chain link material all the way around the fence this week. The lighting, they're working on the controls, the wiring, and completing the pole installation, or the wiring to the poles. The trash enclosure has been poured. The block wall and the gate, they're in the process of coming and will be installed soon. The asphalt portion of the parking lot, they're going to lay that next week. It was too cold. They were supposed to lay that asphalt this week, but it was too cold. The temperature has to be 50 degrees and rising. So they're planning on doing that Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. So it'll look completely different by then. It'll be all nice and clean. It'll be a clean site. So the boxes have been installed for the security cameras. You can see them up on the pole there. So we'll have our security team, Hoffman, come and complete that work and get the cameras up so that whole area will be secured. Next slide is Lofton Stadium. You can see that there's walls now on building 100. They are about 90% done with the layout and the framing of the walls. The wall sheathing is up, and the roofing package actually for all 3 buildings will be delivered next week. So that's the roofing joists. So they'll be starting putting them on top of building 100. Building 200 is the stem walls. They've been poured and they're laying the rock dust. And building 300, they're going to be pouring the depressed slab on grade portions as soon as possible. They had to get a lot of water out of that depressed area. So they're really working on cleaning that up so they can pour that as soon as possible. And then building 300, all the framing materials are there on site, labeled already, ready for them. Here's some additional pictures of Lofton. If you notice the picture before, if you can see like on the right-hand side, that was right after the rain and it was really muddy out there. What they've kind of done now is scoop all that mud into one area so they can work the site pretty well, but it's still really, really muddy and messy out there. And then here's some pictures of, whoops, let's go back to the next one. The plumbing and the electrical has been roughed in, and the picture on the right is building 300, and you can see how they've had to like protect the soil area so they can do their pouring as soon as possible. So that's coming along. We're continuing coordination with the City of Los Banos Public Works Department. They're working on getting the water meters ordered and installed for us. Pacheco High School new classroom addition. This is so exciting to me. The HVACs are here. They were installed. You can see them craning in onto the top of the building right there. So they're being installed. They should, by the end of this week, they should be completely done with that. The contractor provided us an updated schedule through the end of the project, and that is an end of January completion date. So what's left to happen there is the HVAC completion, the flooring, fire alarm testing, cleaning, and final punch list items. The new project that we started, you haven't seen anything on this yet. So this is the Creekside Junior High School new walk-in freezer. They've, due to the rain, they're kind of still in this same spot. But basically, they've saw cut the concrete, they've prepared the soil, they've dug out the soil and prepared that. They're ready to put the bollards in as soon as possible. They've done the trenching for the plumbing and electrical. They're going to lay the rebar and the concrete. Once they do the concrete, the cure time for that is about 1 week, and then they'll be able to bring in the box that is currently being held at the contractor's yard right now. So he'll bring that in and install it. And then we're scheduled to be complete by January 12th on that project. And then as part of my report, I was asked to kind of do a review of the fit and how that relates to facilities, like long-term facilities. So the Williams Act requires that facilities are inspected annually and is a component of the district's SARC, which is School Accountability Report Card. Facilities and Maintenance Department reviews the deficiencies noted in the FIT to create a project work list. Our take on it is that the district should always take a proactive approach in planning projects in order to improve our FIT scores, but most importantly, to provide clean, safe, functional school environments for the students of Los Banos Unified. And then on this next slide, these are our scores from this year. And then sample projects that would have came from those scores. So I didn't give specifics, which project for which school sites, but some of the types of things that would be done from having a poor score would be, we may do re-roofing if there's lots of leaf stained tiles. That's a sign there's roof leaks, so we would do those repairs. Exterior painting, asphalt and concrete repairs. Those are all things that are called out on the FIT, and so we need to make sure we repair those from the FIT, but also proactively work on that so the next time we do our FIT, we're not called out on deficiencies in other areas or in that same area. So those are some of the things that the HVAC system is very important. There's 15 categories of what they score on. So these are the electrical, the plumbing, interior, exterior. So they need to, we just need to make sure we are proactive as well as take care of these things that are noted on our FIT. And that is my report. Thank you.
All right. Any questions, comments?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'm just curious about something. So the Henry Miller parking lot,
Yes.
I noticed that part of the parking lot, a fair amount of the parking lot is 100% concrete.
Yes.
And then the back part will be asphalt.
Yes.
I'm only familiar with parking lots that are asphalt, so why the two?
So I believe the concrete, and Amir, you might have to, I think it's because, you'll have.
Gene, what's going to happen is on the concrete one, we'll be parking buses. So asphalt, if you park buses, the asphalt's going to move within 1 year.
Gotcha.
So if any heavy equipment we need to park, it has to be on concrete.
Gotcha.
So that's why we had to do this separation.
Okay. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Good job. All right, on to board member reports. We'll start with tonight. Ms. Smith.
Good evening. I could just start to say that I attended this month the CSBA conference in San Diego. It was a wonderful event, and the focus of that event, in my opinion, was equality and love. The speaker that spoke there spoke about his childhood in a Bay Area school, I believe it was Oakland, and he talked about how his life from K to 12 was pretty much a disaster. It appeared that he was in a very happy, healthy home, but in reality, he says it was not. He said that it was a teacher that discovered his pain after he was in his first year of college. A teacher asked him if he had any insecurities, and of course he did. He wrote a book. It's called Miseducated. His life, and the author is Brandon Fleming. His life was pretty tumultuous. It was pretty tough upbringing in the Bay Area. But he is now an established author. He's an educator. He works for children, and his whole goal is to practice and teach equality in your districts and love. There was a school there from Southern California, and many of the Bay Area schools also are kind of revamping their school system, and they're focusing on equality. They're focusing on inclusion of all students. It's a beautiful program down in Southern California. Not only are they focusing on equality, but they're also focusing on connectivity. They've got a grant to provide internet to every household in the district in Southern California. And they're treating it like a necessity, like a water and PG&E. And that was through a grant, and that's a wonderful service. I guess if you really think about it, at least for me, every household is not equipped to have children in school. Every household, not only are they food deprived, but a lot of them are resource deprived. They don't have the resources to do their homework, maybe not even have an electronic device. So I think we're really blessed in our city, in our district, to have the services that we need. And we're really blessed to have teachers in our district that get to know our students. Sometimes they can look almost like you are social workers because you work in that capacity too. But I believe that you find equality and you support our students with love. And sitting there in those conferences, so many classes and breakout sessions were evolved around equality and in quantity of students and services. And I just want to say thank you to our district. The services that we provide is wonderful, and it's beautiful to see our kids have all the services that you provide to them. I also attended another course down there, and that one was more on budgeting. It's a lot of breakout sessions, but it was on budgeting. And it sounds like California as a whole is, struggling with finances and budgeting. So that's something that's ongoing in our districts. And as a board member, it's kind of sad to hear the hard part when the funds are not there because we need to support and finance so many different areas in the district. I also attended a nice program that was pretty much dedicated to Mr. Brand. The marching director over there, his name is John Spankowski, director. He did a great program with Los Banos Creekside Junior High School and the Parks and Rec Department. And they presented a Marching into the New Year. And it was, of course, around Christmas and music. It was a beautiful program. I got to get out there, and I don't know, I'm sure you didn't hear because if you did, it'd be a HIPAA violation, but I was sick. I had COVID. And, I swore off COVID 3 years ago, said I'd never get COVID. It crept into my household, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody. Vaccinated, everything that I could get, but still, I wasn't admitted, so thank God for that. A little rough. But anyway, the concert was nice. I got to get out and see that, and I finally felt good that day, so I was able to get out. So hopefully, going forward, I did my thing with COVID. Hopefully this is it for me, and I can get out in the new coming year and spend a lot more time on campuses and get to meet the students and get back into the swing of things. If things go the way they are now, I don't know. This is where I'm kind of at right now. But we'll see how that works out. And I want to just say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to all of you, and enjoy your families while you're off. I know you're looking forward to having that time off with your families, and I'm looking forward to you having that time off with your families. So enjoy yourselves. That's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Smith. On to Mr. Munoz.
Hello, everybody. I have to say ditto to what Marlene just mentioned about CSBA, the, the convention. Okay. That was very informative. Brought back a lot of information that we can distribute through the district. Some of this funding, these bonds that they mentioned. But I have to say, thank you, Marlene. I couldn't have said better than what you put out there. Thank you very much. So my next item would be Lorena Velasco. I'd like to thank Mrs. King for inviting me to read to our second graders in November. I read the book, Warm Chocolate, a very nice story. And first thing I did when I walked into the classroom, and you see all these our little students there, and I asked them, how many of you read every day for 30 minutes? You go home after school and you read every day. And you see all these hands come up, and they had questions, and I must call at least 8 little kids when they had questions about reading, what they learn, how they can pronounce words. Again, I'll have to thank Lorena Velasco and the staff and Mrs. King for having me on their campus. I look forward to reading in January. The next one is, I attended a play over in Pacheco High School. It was called Alice in Wonderland. Very nice play. It kind of reminded me of Wizard of Oz, because you know how Dorothy wants to get home. She wants to get home all the time. Well, Alice was doing the same thing. Just kind of reminded me of the same situation. But a very nice play. I really enjoyed it. Had a good time. Again, I also attended the Creekside Junior High School Band over at the community center. And John Spinkowski was the director. Really good program. It was put together. It was really nice. Really enjoyed that. And I wish everybody a Happy New Year and Merry Christmas, and be safe. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, Mr. Munoz. On to Ms. Valdeo.
Well, I just want to thank Los Banos for trusting me to be part of this board. I know I'll do my very best to represent all parties. I'm excited to sit on a seat here. I also got to attend the conference. I was very excited to be able to attend because this is a different direction for me, being a school teacher for Los Banos for 27 years and an administrator on a district level doing staff development. I'm getting to see a whole different side that I never saw before. It'll be interesting to learn. I know at the conference I got to attend a workshop on dual language immersion programs. It's always been kind of a direction that I've wanted to see our district go, and I think that I read somewhere that we are considering putting a dual language immersion program into play in Los Banos. And I'm excited to see that happen, and I know I'm willing to support that and help in any way that I possibly can. I want to make this short. I know this is going to be a long meeting, so thank you again, and I hope everyone has a nice holiday. And I hope to see everybody at their school sites, because in January I plan to come and visit, if you let me.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Valdeo. On to Mr. Lieb.
Okay, so I'll make this short as well, somewhat. Early this month, I also attended the California School Board Association Conference and Trade Show, and I did learn a lot, as everyone there did. One of the interesting ideas that I learned, I sat through a whole discussion on how to solve the challenge of turnover with teachers in a district in California, and was very interested in how they made that happen. They're the only school district in the country that basically constructed their own housing for everyone that works at the school district, not administrators, but teachers and anyone else that works in the district, and would rent them a 1-bedroom or 2-bedroom or 3-bedroom apartment below market price for 5 to 7 years. And the goal was for them to save money so that at the end of 5 to 7 years, they would then have enough savings to find a down payment on a home. It's actually took place in San Mateo. They opened it during COVID, and they passed a bond to pay for it because no one has an extra $30 million to pay for it. But they did find that it really helped in alleviating the turnover of teachers every year. And I just thought it was an interesting idea that actually worked. I too have spent time with different schools for Christmas events. I enjoy all of them. The Creekside Junior High Wind Ensemble and Color Guard at the Los Banos Community Center. It was nice to see a partnership between the school district and the community, city of Los Banos in that. I did attend the Pacheco High Alice in Wonderland, and I also want to give out a special thanks to Chris Roofer, the owner of the Morningstar Packing Company, and Hans Younts, who cut the official ribbon. Hans cut the official ribbon Monday morning for a dedication at Henry Miller for their new digital sign. And it's wonderful to have that partnership with Morningstar. And so that's pretty much, I want to, make it short because I know there's people that are flying in from out of state to visit their relatives tonight, and we need to get to the airport to pick them up. So Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas and a happy 2023 to everyone.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lee. On to Ms. Moran. Oops, there we go. Wait a minute. Oh, there you go.
Playing tag over here. I had the pleasure to attend a short snippet of the dual immersion kickoff session, actually, so maybe we can connect with Dr. Marshall on that. But I got to learn a little bit about the California English Learner Policy Map. And so really they're based on 4 principles. And to me, and I should just share, as an English learner myself in this very district, it's like a full circle. So I can't be more proud of this district for moving this direction and affording our future students that are coming behind me a different experience, right? So especially pillar number 1, it's an asset-based education, and it's truly based on what my fellow board members have really mentioned. Marlene allured to inclusion, equity, and whatnot, and that's truly what is at the base of asset-based learning, which is embracing those different cultures and how we transition that in the curriculum, right? Number 2, quality of instruction. Number 3, actually investing in this supportive system. And lastly, number 4 is to articulate and connect those systems. So I even did my own reflection, and I said, what kind of service do we do sometimes in terms of a transition, not only articulation within the K-12 systems and going from one grade to the next, but me as a person at a community college, what kind of articulated systems are we doing from transitioning students from high school over to college, whether that is here locally or somewhere else. So it was really a great session, truth be told. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I really believe in this, and to also state that there's heavy lifting that I want to extend my gratitude to that work group that is doing that great work. And with that said, have a good time off and get some rest, and Happy New Year.
All right, thank you. Last but not least, I'm not going to repeat what everybody just said because it would be the same thing you just heard. But I do have one thing that is just a little bit different, and that is I was invited to the local Veterans Association and Veterans and actually American Legion Association's Christmas dinner a couple of nights ago, and I had the honor of being there. And so what I thought was really cool about that was the participation from within our school district for that event. One of our local classified employees, Rochelle Creighton, who was a veteran, always sends out multiple emails and says, hey, we need raffle prizes. And they just, the school sites and the teachers and the classified staff, many donations for that event from our district staff. And so that was great to hear and see. Just a couple things. One of the raffle prizes that night was an Army blanket that was made by a teacher at Creekside, Kristen Odell. And it was a beautiful blanket. And it was won by one of our World War II veterans that was at the event. So that was really cool. Pacheco High School Floral Department did all the centerpieces, and they were beautiful as always. the Los Banos High School Ag Department had this beautiful steel flag as a raffle prize that night, and that it was really nice. And so that was donated by that Ag Department for that. As you can see, there was multiple things, but one of the things that caught my attention that night, as we sat down, all of the seats had a placemat. And at the placemat was a little bag of candy with a note that said, "Thanks for your service," from the Los Banos Junior High School Honor Society. But not only did every place seating have that little bag of candy, but on each one of those placemats, there was a personalized message that the kids wrote, and I have a couple of them here because couple of them were sent around. One of the messages: "Thank you for your hard work and dedication to this country," from the Los Banos Junior High School National Junior Honor Society. Another one was, "This wouldn't be the home of the free if not for the brave veterans like you," from the Los Banos Junior High School National Junior Honor Society. So that was a really cool touch from our students at Los Banos Junior High School. And I want to thank them for doing that. It meant a lot. It was everybody was lifting up their plates and reading what all the little messages said. So it was really cool that our school really stepped up for veterans, and that made a great event for their Christmas party. So I want to say thank to everybody who supported that event and supported our veterans. So thank you very much. And that concludes my part of the report. So we're going on to new business. Item A under new business, which is the dashboard local indicators. Dr. Ritchie, are you doing it from your seat there?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, there we go. All right, good evening, board. Tonight we're going to share a little bit about the California School Dashboard. This was released today, went public. There was a little question about whether we would be able to share it because the information was embargoed until it went public, but at 1 p.m. it's open, so here we go. So a little bit about the dashboard. The dashboard is the state accountability measure that it measures 6 state measures and 5 local measures. And as a school district, we certify how well we're doing locally. The local measures include sufficiency of textbooks, sufficiency of materials, that we have fully credentialed teaching staff, things of that nature. And so we met all those requirements. What we're going to be sharing tonight are the 6 state measures. The dashboard's updated every December. The last 2 years, it has not been due to COVID and lack of data. This is the first year since the pandemic began in 2020 that we'll have the dashboard. But because of that, it necessitated a few changes to it. This is the state, and we'll get that slides are out of order. The state measures are academic performance, that's mathematics and English language arts, high school graduation rates, suspension rates, chronic absenteeism, which is students who are absent more than 10 days during a school year, college career readiness, which measures graduation rates, the completion of CTE pathways, and the English learner progress. Those are students who either score a 4 on the LPAC or improve 1 level per year. Now, the performance levels this year are determined by current year data. As I said, in the past, it would also do a comparison data to the previous year as to whether how well did you improve, did you regress, and it does that not just for all students in the district, but it does also by significant subgroups. So that's by ethnicity, by socioeconomic status, and by English language proficiency. So the data, the academic performance indicator for English language arts. This year, Mr. Salersby shared the CAFS data with the board, I can remember last month and the month previously. This is not new, and as you see that the current year it was scored low this is based off the CAFS scores from May. California, across the state, there's a significant decline. As a district, we use the NWA MAP assessments for benchmark data. We take 3 times a year. NWA did a study on their assessments from across the country and found that on average, every district and every student population in the nation declined by 2 to 3%, but especially students who lived in districts that had a higher than average lower socioeconomic status declined even more. And so it was pretty stark, the differences there. And our district is really no different than any other district in California or across the state. So they said the performance level is low. It's not where we want to be, but it is where it is. Mathematics, same situation. And the decline in mathematics was more precipitous than in English language arts. And that was the same for our district as for most districts across the state and most districts across the country. The graduation rate, some areas of improvement. Our graduation rate is high. It has been high. We're at 94.99%, so I just round up, said 95%. The California rate is 87%, so our students graduate almost at 8% higher rate than the rest of California. One area of concern is that last year, I think anyone in education can tell you that when the kids came back, they didn't really remember how school worked, and it created or even just socialization, and it created some difficulties. And so our suspension rate was high last year. It's not what we want it to be, and the schools and the staff have been taking different proactive steps to support students and to also decrease the incidence of behavior this year. California, on average, was at a medium level. And this is based off of the percentage of students with a day of suspension is how this is determined. Chronic absenteeism, I was shocked that they even counted this year. It was in all the curriculum meetings we go to with the county and across the state. None of us really thought that the state was going to measure this, but they decided to do it anyway. As you see, we're very high. California is very high. Everyone's very high. If you drill down this further, if you look by every significant subgroup was high, which is not normal. Usually have it kind of spread out for low or average or more, so on and so forth. But just last year was hard with quarantining and with COVID cases. And this year, while it's been better, it's still hard. Like this month especially, schools will tell you they've been hit hard with RSV, with the influx of the flu, with ongoing COVID strains. And so this is something we're going to be living with for a little while, and we're going to have to just be used to it and figure out ways we can mitigate the effects of chronic absenteeism. The College and Career Readiness Indicator, they didn't do a report this year because that indicator is really based off of comparison data between different years. And so because of the disruption of the pandemic, they did not include that. So in summary, areas of commendation, we have a significant, like a very high percentage of students graduate on time across the district. One area that's been consistent improvement, and even in spite of the pandemic, was the percentage of English learners who are making progress towards English proficiency. Once again, those are the number of students who either scored a 4 on the advanced on the LPAC or moved up a level. And so that's a significant number. We're right with the rest of the state of California, and with the work that we're doing, I expect us to continue to improve that. Areas of growth, our suspension rate, it's too high, and that's not something when you sit back and say, well, the way to fix that is just not to suspend. That's not the case. When we talk about suspension rate being too high, is that we don't have the systems in place to be proactive enough to be able to help students adjust their behavior before it becomes an issue. And that's one of the things that the schools are working hard on with their single plans for their sites, and also with the different procedures we're using with PBIS and other programs. We already mentioned the percentage of students meeting or exceeding standards in ELA and mathematics is low, and it's something we're working to improve. And then we also already talked about the chronically absent students percentage is too high. So that was the quick summary. Are there any questions?
Any questions? Thank you, I think, for that news.
Thank you.
I'm glad we're not the only district in that shape. That's
Something that
sounds like something that's happening everywhere.
Yeah, and something I neglected to say is that I don't think we ever give ourselves enough credit. We have a remarkable group of teachers, classified staff, administrators who are really working to support our students. We have a great community. We have great students, and as I said, we are not doing worse than anyone else. And our goal is to do better, and not just to do better so we can say, hey, we're better than others, but so that we can do better. We can do better by our students, and that's what we're working towards.
Thank you. I know they are. I know everybody's working hard. So thank you very much for that. All right, moving on to item B, schedule of 2023 board meetings. That's another operational item that we do every year. Our board meetings are the second Thursday of every month, except for December, which is the first Thursday after the second Friday in December. So like this year, it's the third Thursday, but in 2023, it's actually going to be the second Thursday because December 1st is a Friday, and so December 8th is the second Thursday, and so we're following back. So that's a little change from what we normally look at for December, but other than that, it's the second Thursday of every month, and it's going to be for every month this year. Plus, we have a couple of special meetings that are scheduled in June and December. So that is our board calendar for 2023. Are there any questions? Dr. Marshall, do you have anything you want to add? No? Okay. If there are no questions or discussion, I do need a motion and a second.
Second?
Got a motion by member Munoz, seconded by member Moran to adopt the 2023 board meeting schedule. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's carried unanimously. Item C, 2023 school calendars. Every year in December, we have our first reading of the school calendar. I understand that pending negotiations, there may be some updates to the calendar that for some of the political professional learning days, and those are still under being negotiated. But what we have is a draft calendar that at least gives everybody the starting date, the ending date, graduation dates, holiday dates, and the only changes that will come later on would be staff development days and anything else that needs to be added to that. That doesn't affect the current starting day, ending day, and holidays. So that is in front of you now. Any questions? Comments or a motion, maybe? I got a motion by member Lieb, seconded by member Valadeo to declare the intent to adopt the 23-24 school calendars. And this includes both calendars for the regular school year and the alternative school year for San Luis High School and Crossroads. With that, all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried unanimously. Item D, approval of certificated non-bargaining unit salary schedule. And, okay, I was going to say Dr. Calzadez isn't here, but pinch hitting for Dr. Calzadez is Dr. Ritchie.
Yeah, I got this one. So this is, as you may recall, we in the ESSER plan and the ELOG plan, we decided that we were going to try to bring a ROTC program in place. It is hard to get an ROTC program in place. At Pacheco High School, Mr. Sutton has been working really hard to work with the Army to get this done. And so one of the things we came up against was that we had to provide a salary schedule for the Army officer and non-commissioned officer because they won't fit anywhere else. And so we worked with different school districts who have ROTC programs in place. And so we're bringing to you before the board tonight a salary schedule that will apply to the NJRT, the Army ROTC instructors that will be reflective of the educational requirements that are set by the Army for those instructors.
I do have one question about the percentage salary schedule, and there is a number of rows on the besides columns, there's a number of rows, and I assume those are years? It
Yes.
should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all the way
Yes, it
down?
should be.
Okay, all right,
That's correct.
all right. I was just wondering how that worked. All right. Any other questions? Comments? Motion, second? Got a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Munoz to approve the certificated non-bargaining unit salary schedule as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried unanimously. Item E, memorandum of understanding between the school district and CSEA.
I'll take that
Dr.
one.
Marshall's doing this, okay?
Sure. It's recommended that you approve the memorandum of understanding between the LBUSD and the Classified School Employees Association, Chapter 92. And this MOU deals with the Juneteenth holiday that was passed into law. Basically, it's going to designate December 22nd this year for some of our employees, and May 5th, 2023, as a non-paid as a paid non-duty day. That'll get us in accordance with the law that was passed.
All right, any questions? Motion, second?
I'll make a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between LBUSD School District and CSEA Chapter 92.
All right, we have a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Smith to approve the MOU between the school district and our classified employees. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried. All right. Item F, Resolution 38-22, continued funding application for our preschool. And Jennifer's coming down. Good evening.
Good evening, and I apologize. I'm getting over, my voice is finally coming back. So this application is an application, it's basically an agreement between Los Banos Unified School District and the state of California for the district to continue to hold our contract. We've started doing this in December instead of June, which is usually when we do it. So what happens when June ends and July comes around, our contract renews automatically. So if you agree to renew that contract, that's what this is, unless anybody has any questions.
All right, this is for our preschool program.
Yes.
Any questions? If not, I need a motion and a second. Got a motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Smith to adopt Resolution 38-22 for continued funding for our preschool. Tina, roll call, please.
Ms. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo?
Yes.
Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tina. On to item G, curriculum adoption, our first reading. And that should be Mr. Sowersby. Good evening.
Good evening, board members. Tonight I bring to you Elementary Curriculum Council's recommendation to adopt California History Social Science My World Interactive 2019 grades K through 6 by Pearson Education. We're asking the board tonight to declare their intent to adopt the recommended curriculum as selected by the representatives of the Elementary Curriculum Council. Are there any questions?
All right. Any questions? Seeing none, I need a motion and a second. Got a motion by Mr. Lieb, seconded by Ms. Moran to declare to intent to adopt the History Social Science curriculum for K-6 grades. All's in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it's carried. All right. Thank you, Mr. Sowersby, and by the way, thank you, Jennifer, for your presentation earlier. Resolution 37-22, interfund cash transfers. Alejandra, hello.
Hi, good evening, board members. It is recommended the board adopt Resolution 37-22, which gives the district standby authority to borrow from themselves in case it is necessary to cover short-term cash needs.
All right, that's pretty self-explanatory. Any questions? Motion and second, please. Got a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Munoz to adopt Resolution 3922 for, oh, excuse me, 3722, reading the wrong line here, 3722 for interfund cash transfers. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? I'm sorry, roll call because it is a resolution. Thank you for catching that. Tina?
Mrs. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadao? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alejandra. On to item I, Resolution 39-22, reimburse certain expenditures from the proceeds of Measure X bond sales, and I believe that's Samir.
This is a resolution which states that when the bond sale happens next year in October 2023, the district will be reimbursed for the project expense for Pacheco High School Science Building and Lofton Stadium. The district provided a bridge loan through the Capital Facility Fund, so the mentioned projects are not delayed, keeping in mind that our students' educational needs as a priority. Staff is asking for approval.
Any questions? Again, pretty self-explanatory. Motion and a second then? Got a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Moran to adopt Resolution 39-22 for the reimburse of certain expenditures from the proceeds of Measure X bond sales. Tina, roll call, please.
Mrs. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadao? Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, on to the HME parking lot change order request. Sherry?
Good evening again. So this is, it's recommendation that the Board of Trustees approve change order number 1 with Benchmark Civil Engineering and Land Surveying for engineering services for the Henry Miller parking lot. This is a change order. The board had approved a change order for the contractor a few board meetings ago. So this is the actual engineering work. So there was unforeseen obstacles at the job site, and there was additional design and construction administration time involved, along with additional testing lab and inspector hours. So that is the reason for the change order.
Any questions? Not, I'll entertain a motion in a second. We got a motion by Member Munoz, seconded by Member Valadao to approve the change order for the Henry Miller FOT parking lot. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried unanimously. Item K, new classroom wing at Pacheco High School change order.
It is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve contract change orders, order number 1 with Harris Builders Incorporated for the construction of the new classroom wing at Pacheco High School. These are change orders for the whole project up until now. They were approved by district staff, but they should have been brought through, approved by the board. So that's why we're bringing them now.
All right. Any questions? Yes. Nope, go ahead.
It just seems like the 2 sinks on rooms 3 and 13 were really expensive.
I'm sorry, what? Yeah, if you want to.
All right, what happened is when we designed the room, there wasn't any sink. So we had to do a redesign, the whole thing. That's why it's expensive, because when we originally designed it, there was no sink there. So when the district requested the change, we had to redesign the whole, that's why it's expensive, because it was done after the fact.
So it would be all the infrastructure and the plumbing,
Infrastructure,
everything, not
plumbing,
just
everything.
the sink itself.
Yes, we had to redesign the whole thing.
Also known as government bureaucracy. I know. Any other questions? Seeing none, then I would entertain a motion in a second. Got a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Moran to approve the change order for Pacheco High School new classroom wing. All those in favor? Opposed? And it is carried. We get to pay for those expensive things. Thank you. On to item L, Architectural Services Pool. Request for,
Okay, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve a pool of qualified architects consisting of Mangini Associates, Inc., SKW and Associates, and Teeter LLP for architectural services for the Los Banos Unified School District's capital facilities projects. There were no interviews done. These were staff recommendations. Mangini and Teeter are currently working on our projects, and we have a longstanding relationship with them. And SKW was selected due to their prior work in the district. They had done the Pacheco Ag Barn, designed that, and so we would like to continue and build on that partnership we have with them.
all right, any questions? All right.
Reason to take it to bid?
We don't have to bid out for architectural services. It's a professional service, so you do not have to bid that out.
My question is, this is an LED lighting replacement project at Los Banos High.
We're not that one yet.
Oh, where you at?
We're on L.
We're on
Oh, I'm sorry, my finger got too far. Sorry. Next one.
Next one. Okay.
Sorry.
No question. All right. Seeing no more questions, then we're moving on to a motion and a second to make this happen. Got a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Munoz to approve the architectural services pool response. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried. All right, item M, Resolution 40-22, Los Banos High School LED lighting replacement design.
After a public hearing, it is recommended that the Board of Trustees approve resolution number 40-22 for a design-build agreement with Cicerco Energy Solutions, Inc. for an LED lighting replacement project at Los Banos High School.
All right, with that, we will open the public hearing at 8:28. Is there anybody that wishes to speak to this item? All right, seeing no one come forward, we'll close the public hearing at 8:28. Board, questions? Okay, Mr. Lee.
So I looked at the dollar amount on this project, and I'm just wondering, do we have an LED, is Pacheco High all set up with LEDs already, or are they going to be doing the same thing at some point?
I believe that our maintenance department is working with a contractor to change out the LED lights at Pacheco currently. They're working on that. That school, I believe, we don't have to do as much because it's not as old. They're just literally going in and changing out those fixtures and I'm not sure where they're doing. Is it just the gym at
Right,
Pacheco?
just the gym.
But this is more than just the gym at
Well,
Los
this is
Banos.
like, I think, 3 places. The lights are from like 1930s or 40s. Yeah, so.
Yeah, the age difference. Good evening, board members. My name's Heather from Cicerco Energy Solutions.
Could you get up to the microphone a little closer?
Oh, sure.
Thank you.
So we've been working with the high school for about a year now and, looking at all the high bay buildings, including band and choir, along with exterior lighting because it's very dark at night. So working with the principal along with Sherry and Amir, we've identified the priority areas of the school. And we're also including controls in the high bays. So Jason or Sherry or her staff, we can identify who has control of that, but they can actually remotely turn the lights off with the phone. And it's going to help with energy savings. Also, the fixtures, they're standardized with Lithonia. They're 27 watts lower than Pacheco, but they produce the same amount of lumens. So they're just as bright, but they put less energy load on the system.
Can we currently control the lights at Pacheco High remotely?
Manually.
So we can't control them with a cell phone at Pacheco High?
No, because those lights were installed 8 or 9 years ago, so they're all done manually. These are like, different.
So are we going to look at doing a
Yes, we
same
will.
similar project at Pacheco High?
Again, yes, we will, but again, the funding and priorities, so we are trying to fund as much as possible with the funds we have.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, seeing no more questions, we are going to need a motion and a second to adopt the resolution, if you so desire.
I make a motion to approve the lighting. Second.
We got a motion by Member Valadeo, seconded by Member Moran, to adopt Resolution 40-22, Los Banos High School LED lighting replacement design. All those in favor? Aye.
It's a roll call.
I'm sorry, did it again. Roll call. It's a resolution. I know better.
Mrs. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz? Yes. Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Ms. Valadeo?
Yes.
Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. You had your moment in the sun here tonight. All right, on to item N, appointment to the Merced County School Boards Association Executive Board. Every school district in Merced County has a representative to the county association, Merced County School Boards Association. And for the past few years, our representative has been Gary Munoz. But in December, there's a 2-year term, so in December this year, we have to appoint a new representative and an alternate. So, board members, yes, sir. Okay, hang on.
I like to keep that position because we're doing a lot of work. I'm familiar with that as far as what we're setting up for the next year.
So it sounds like you're nominating yourself, which is legal,
Yeah.
which is all right.
Okay.
Okay. Or is there anybody else that wants to do that? All right. But we also need an alternate. So who would like to be the alternate to that position? Don't everybody jump at once.
I'll do it.
All right. We have Member Lieb, who has nominated himself, which he can do, to be the alternate to that position if Gary can't attend those meetings. Is there anybody else that wishes to be considered for the alternate position? Everybody's jumping at it like crazy. All right. Seeing no more people step forward. Thank you guys for both volunteering to do that, but I do need a motion and a second to appoint those two people.
I can nominate Gary Munoz for the position at Merced.
Thank you.
Gary, you have done a great job. I guess you really like going out to Dustin. You work
It's
well.
Merced.
Is it Merced sometimes?
Yes.
Is that where Loretta is?
Yes.
She's in Gustine? Yeah, so you would seem to really enjoy that, and you've done a lot of good work,
Yes.
and I'd like to nominate you.
Really. Yeah.
Would-
Thank you.
Would you like to also include the alternate in that
Yes.
motion?
Jean travels around the county a lot too, huh, Jean? You go all over the place, and you'll be out and about with Gary. I can nominate you for alternate.
Great.
A second.
All right, so we have a motion by Member Smith, seconded by Member Valadeo to appoint Gary Munoz as a representative to the Merced County School Board's Executive Board and Jean Lieb as the alternate in case Gary can't attend any of those meetings. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And it is carried. So thank you, gentlemen, for your volunteering. You get everything turned off here. Here we go. All right. On to item 12, consent calendar. And there are a number of items here that we will vote on in mass. There is one change, which I mentioned earlier, which is item J, which does not include Volta, and the correct date is the 2023. So I need a motion, or are there any pulls to any item on the consent calendar, first of all? G, thank you very much. I'm having a hard time reading here. No pulls? All right. Without any pulls, I need a motion to accept and approve the consent calendar as corrected.
I make a motion to approve the consent calendar as correct.
Got a motion by Member Lieb, seconded by Member Munoz to approve the consent calendar as corrected. Roll call, Tina, please.
Mrs. Gattuso? Mr. Lieb?
Yes.
Ms. Moran?
Yes.
Mr. Munoz? Ms. Smith?
Yes, I'm just wondering, is it Narcan that they want to be able to administer? The drug? The Narcan? Yes.
Ms. Valadao?
Yes.
Mr. Pereira?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Reporting out of closed session. And I have the response, motion here. Expulsion case numbers 5515071 and 5507191 are expelled for the remainder of the school year. Students are to contact Educational Service for readmission following the period of expulsion for a review of attendance, credits, and/or grades, behavior, and recommended counseling. All students are referred to Valley Community Day School. Motion by Mr. Munoz, seconded by Mr. Lieb. There were 6 ayes, no noes, no abstentions, and 1 absent. That is item 1 under closed session. Items 2, 3, and 4 under closed session were non-action items. Next item, discussion, information, and future agenda items. Anyone have anything? Seeing silence up here, that means nothing is going to happen. All right, next item is closed session, if necessary, and it's not necessary. And so with that, I want to wish everybody happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Hanukkah, however you celebrate. Have a great holiday season and Happy New Year, and we'll see you in January. Good night, everybody. Thank you.